Good morning. We are at Grattan Raceway, which is located 15 miles northeast of Grand Rapids, Michigan. This is April 21st, 22nd of 1990. The first Michigan Gran Prix of the season will be run this weekend. Let's talk to a few of these racers and then watch the first race on Saturday.
My name's Jim Lytle. I'm from Toronto. Myself and a couple other fellows have driven out here last night to this Grattan racetrack. We're used to running in the Toronto track near Belleville, and this is a very interesting track because there's a lot of there's a few off-camber turns, a few blind turns, and some hills that are very interesting that we're not used to on the tracks I've run on before.
My name is Dr. Bob Ducharme, and we're here at Grattan Raceway. Grattan Raceway is probably one of the better racetracks that we run in the Midwest circuit, mainly because the facility is in such a nice setting. Number two, there's a lot of garage space, and there's a lot of camping space. The track itself is very, very well maintained. Most of the time, the corner workers are probably the best around, and we appreciate all their help. It's just a nice place to be. There's a lot of nice people always here. EJ and the crew do a fantastic job of keeping everything clean and neat.
We come to Grattan just about every time there's a race, and the reason we do is because it's an excellent facility. The track is smooth, fast, nice. It requires a bit of skill to get around it. You can't just show up and go fast. And EJ, the owner here, takes care of the facility. Every year there's some improvements. If something goes amok, he makes sure it's taken care of. He cares for the riders, and that seems to be more than most people do anymore.
I'm Michael Burke from Ann Arbor, Michigan. Grattan Raceway is the premier racetrack of the Midwest. It's the best racetrack in Michigan for sure. Of course, it's the only one that lets WERA on it. I've been racing here for 5 or 6 years. And
one of the nicer tracks that I ever raced on. Pretty good surface, smooth, no bumps. That's the best part.
To the heat action. This is Clubman class. This is for single-cylinder bikes. And out front is Paul Morse. Second place looks like Steve Heilman, number 80. Paul Morse, Steve Heilman, and Pat Kenny. These are single-cylinder motorcycles. Number 80 is Steve Heilman, and Steve has just made the move, take over the lead in this Clubman Expert class. Let's watch them again as they come down the front straightaway and work their way back to the hairpin. And coming through the ball is Steve Heilman out front on his Honda. Second place looks like Paul Morris. He's also Honda mounted, and Pat Kenny is in third place.
Heilman picked up the win. Let's talk to the official WERA photographer and his wife, Jackie.
We're here with Larry Lawrence, who is the official WERA photographer, and his wife. And you come out to the races, Larry. I mean, you're like at every WERA race, and you're at a lot of the AMA Nationals. So is this a full-time business, this taking photographs, and how long have you been doing it?
Yeah, pretty much in the summertime, from about March to October. I cover races, do press releases for WERA, do ad photos for the ad agencies, and it keeps me pretty busy from, like I said, from March to October. And I've been doing it since 1983, full-time since 1986.
Okay, so that's, you know, like most guys that are at the races, and you got pictures that you sell from the previous day, or you got pictures from the previous week, and people can buy the pictures for a couple bucks or whatever it is. But you drive a lot of your income from selling pictures that motorcycle companies and suppliers use for advertising too?
Yeah, that's right. The major motorcycle manufacturers, Honda, Suzuki, Kawasaki, Yamaha, Harley-Davidson, Cagiva, they all have ad agencies, and I deal directly with the ad agencies. Most of them are in Los Angeles, And I've built up a rapport with their people over the years, and so they have a lot of interest in WERA racing. They're interested in the endurance series especially, and Suzuki Cup races, and also Michigan Gran Prix. They've done a lot of advertising over the years for the Michigan Gran Prix series.
Thank you, Larry and Jackie.
Okay, the heat race for the Michigan Grand Prix, and this heat race will determine the starting grid for Sunday's Michigan Grand Prix, race number 1 at Grattan Raceway, as we watch these bikes on the back straight coming towards the jump. And leading this race is number 421, Fritz Kling. Fritz Kling out of East Lansing is on a 750 Yamaha that's been punched out to 950. Fritz was 1989 champion, and he's running away with this heat. Second place is Randy Gaddey, followed by Gary Hatherley, Marty Miller, Phil Pummell, and Stevie Patterson. As we watch these riders coming through, the fast left-hander leads to the off camber. Number 442 is Ike Zerkner out of Ohio, and he's on a Suzuki. But it's Fritz Kling picking up the checkered flag and winning this heat race, which guarantees him the pole position. As we watch Marty Miller coming over to jump. But Fritz Kling will have the front row start at the Michigan Grand Prix Race 1 to be held Sunday.
Let's talk to two sons of EJ Faasen, the owner of this racetrack, Hugh and Kurt.
With me is Huey Faasen and Kurt Faasen, who are the two sons of EJ Faasen, who started, created, built Grattan Raceway. So let me start with you, Kurt. How long ago did your dad start this? And you know, this whole racetrack is family owned. So why don't you give me a little background on Grattan Raceway?
Started about 30 years ago. Started out as a drag strip. Once that started making a little bit of money, they laid out the road course, hauled the gravel in. It took a couple years to get that done. Then eventually, as the money came in, they paved the circuit. It took about 5 years to get it going, but it finally turned into a road course, evolved more or less from a drag strip to a road course. Back then, there was a lot of competition in drag strips. There were pretty much a dime a dozen all over the state. And it was more like bring your daddy's car and go to the drags back then, you know. But we could see what was happening in the drag part of it, that the family cars are going down, or the gas guzzlers were going out, and we decided that we had to take a different course with the racetrack. And that's what pretty much turned into the road course.
Okay, and then came along where the real evolution of Grattan probably happened, was it 5-6 years ago when you guys decided to repave? Why don't you tell us about the repaving job?
Well, we had to repave because the track surface got so bad, a lot of potholes, things like that, and we finally decided that it was time. So we went into debt quite a bit. You know, we took a big chance. We repaved. Oh, it was a pretty big job. The surface that we had on there, the original surface, was real bad. And the trucks punched through. We hired people in here to come and take gravel out, smooth the gravel out. By hand, we had to do it while the trucks were coming in. You know, it was just a real big job. And we finally got it done, and she looks pretty good now.
Well, basically, both of you guys were in the hauling business anyhow. So I mean, probably what you probably saved if you would have just hired a contract to come and just repave it. Would it probably cost twice as much as what you really end up paying, or? Well,
at least all that. If it wasn't for our know-how and equipment, I mean, we put a lot of time and hours in here for nothing that we really never got paid for. Eventually, it'll come back to us. But without the family sticking together, it's been a family project since the conception of the place, and actually, that's what's kept the place together. Everybody putting their hard work and time in. If you had to hire people to do this, we wouldn't be where we are today.
Okay, well, Kurt, thanks a lot.
Dan, nice talking to you again.
And Huey.
Nice seeing you.
and let's get back to some of the racing action.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Another race be held this Sunday. B Production. These are bikes that got to run stock exhaust systems. And in B Production, leading number 1, last year's C Production national champ, but leading B Production now, number 1, Stevie Patterson out of Detroit, Michigan. We watch these riders go around. Stevie Patterson is leading Mike Taylor. Ken Kazaraki's in 3rd, Greg Hutchison's 4th, and Steve Heilman's 5th. And in the novice ranks, novices are running with these bikes, same one race. Coming down the front straightaway, first place is Dale Baker. Second place, as we see Stevie Patterson's sponsor, one of his sponsors with the Stevie Patterson jacket. Second place novice was Attila Sabu. Dean Hayes 3rd, 4th place Doug Arthur, and 5th place Tom Wilson as Stevie Patterson picks up the checkered flag. For racing action, this is B Superbike, and up front with his Honda running a stock engine, Phil Pummell, who told me that he blew up his good engine, is leading B Superbike, Honda mounted. Second place is John Elridge on a Suzuki. 3rd place looks like Vince Bauer. As Phil Pummell comes by, gets the white flag, 1 lap to go. Leading the novices is Tom Wilson. He's on a Suzuki. And Attila Sabu is also on a Suzuki. Over the jump. Phil Pummell still leading. John Elridge still in 2nd on Suzuki.
In B Superbike, it is Pummell, Elridge, and Bauer. 1, 2, 3. Tom Wilson picked up the novice win. Now let's go talk to some of the top competitors in the Michigan Grand Prix.
We're here with Randy Gaddey, who now has got a new number on your bike. You're running number 80.
Yes, I am. I used to be 408, and now the number is 80.
So what kind of bike are you running this year?
This year it's a 1989 GSXR 750 chassis with 1100 motor in it.
So you're got the right setup for Grattan Raceway then?
Well, when I get it sorted out, it's going to be the right setup, I hope.
Okay, so how'd you do yesterday in the race? In that heat race?
We're just trying a few things out. We changed tires today. We're trying a few things, just doing some testing this weekend.
So, but you think you got a good chance of winning it?
It's going to be tough. There's a couple real competitive riders out there, some really good machines, and we'll see at the end.
We're here with Marty Miller, who is last year. Where'd you finish in the Michigan Grand Prix series last year?
Oh, I think 7th overall, and I DNF'd the last 2 races.
Yeah, I know. You were doing real good in the beginning of the year, and then you had some minor problems. What kind of bike you run? I know you're running something sort of unconventional, so why don't you tell us about that?
Yeah, I'm from Dayton, Ohio. One of my main sponsors is Joe's Cycle Shop, and I'm riding a 500 Gamma street bike, a former street bike. It's what I call a super bike, against all the other open bikes.
We're here with Phil Pummell, who was the Michigan Grand Prix champion in 1988. And last year you finished in the top 10. You don't remember what place?
I believe it was 8th place we finished last year. We missed 1 race and had a bad finish at the final, and
that was enough for everybody to zoom right by you.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's your plans? We're about 20 minutes before the start of Michigan Grand Prix. What do you think your chances are today of winning it?
My chances today are really pretty slim. There's a lot of 1100s out there, and we're running a 750 against them, and we're currently working on getting a new bike. Something that'll be a little more up to snuff in comparison to the current equipment.
Well, your good engine, you told me yesterday, you blew that up at Daytona, so you're basically running a stock Honda engine, right?
Yeah, we're running a stock 86 VFR 750 engine. The only changes that we've made is got HRC carbs and exhaust pipe on it.
We're here with last year's Michigan Grand Prix champ, Fritz Klein from East Lansing, Michigan. And as the footage we shot yesterday, he's been going pretty good out here. So what do you think your chance of winning the first
Grand Prix of the 1990 season are?
Well, I think they're pretty good right now. I think the closest guy I had just blew up his bike, so.
Why, who was that?
Ray Yoder.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he just blew up his bike, so all I have to do is really get a good start and pray these guys don't get some nitrous or anything.
If you watched the show last year, the Michigan Grand Prix finale, we did a pretty extensive interview with Stevie and all his sponsors and everybody in your pit crew, which you got a pretty extensive pit crew. But you didn't win the race. You finished second in the championship. And what's your plans today for the Michigan Grand Prix?
Well, my plans today is I'm starting out in row 3, so if I can just get a real good start and try and break away with the leaders and get a good pace going and just try and hold that steady.
All right, you're running your 600 in this, right?
Right.
So you're giving away, to some of these guys with these 1100 Suzukis, you're giving up 500 cc's.
Right.
We're here with Mike Karm, who last year, 1989, you finished 3rd in the points in the Michigan Grand Prix Series?
Yes.
And you're coming back this year because you want to wrap the whole thing up, correct?
Yeah, that could be. I'm going to give it a try, see if I can do it.
Okay, so where are you from? You're from Michigan City, Indiana still? Or?
Yeah, Michigan City, Indiana.
All right, and what are you going to be riding this year?
Well, for the Michigan Grand Prix, 1100 Suzuki that I got carburetors on and stuff, so it goes pretty good, and if it holds together this year, it should have a good year.
And what number are you riding in that bike?
55.
55, okay. And do you got any sponsors you want to mention?
Yeah, Ron and Brian Suzuki, they helped me out a lot this year.
Out of Waukegan?
Yes, out of Waukegan.
So they're sponsoring an Indiana rider?
Yeah, yes.
This is it, ladies and gentlemen. This is the race that we all came out here for, the Michigan Grand Prix. This is race number 1 of this 5-race series to be held at Grattan Raceway Park, located 15 miles northeast of Grand Rapids, Michigan. We've got the 1988 champ here, Phil Pummell, and he'll be riding the Honda, and he's out of Ohio. And we got the 1989 champ, Fritz Klein, and he's riding on a Yamaha. Also entered are Randy Gaddey from Warren, Michigan, Marty Miller from Dayton, Ohio, Mike Karm out of Michigan City, Indiana, Stevie Patterson out of Detroit, Michigan, Gary Hatherley from Fisher, Indiana, John Urridge from Aurora, Illinois. As they get ready for the start of the Michigan Grand Prix, race 1. Jumping out front, Fritz Klein in that 950 Yamaha. It's a 750, punched out the 950, and right behind him with the stock engine Honda is Phil Pummell, number 60. Randy Gaddey's in 3rd. 4th place looks like Marty Miller on that 500 Suzuki. Coming through the sweeper. Fritz Klein still up front. As everybody sorts their way through this first lap. Over 35 bikes have entered this, down the front straightaway again. Fritz Klein still up front. Battle going on for 2nd between Randy Gaddey and Phil Pummell, number 60 and number 80. Randy Gaddey's out of Warren, Michigan, and he's on a Suzuki, but looks like Phil Pummell won the battle to the first turn, down in the hairpin. Phil Pummell seems to still have 2nd place wrapped up. Randy Gaddey's in 3rd on a Suzuki. It's 1100 Suzuki. The riders sort themselves out of the hairpin down through these 2 dog legs. Here comes Fritz Klein out of S's to the jump. Fritz Klein on the Yamaha. He's out of East Lansing, Michigan. Second place. Still looks like a battle between Phil Pummell and Randy Gaddey. Got a battle going on for 5th place between Stevie Patterson and Gary Hatherley. Gary Hatherley's on 1100 Suzuki, and Stevie Patterson, who's running #1 plate, he's only on a 600 Yamaha. As they come down the front straightaway, Fritz Kling, East Lansing, Michigan, is still up front. Watch that battle. We got 3 men going for second. Coming into this first corner, this 100-mile-an-hour right-hander jumping up front. Randy Gaddey's got it. He's got 2nd place. 3rd place looks like Phil Pummell. 4th place was Marty Miller. 5th place was Gary Hatherley. 6th place was Stevie Patterson. Watch him come into this 100-mile-an-hour first corner. Still up front, Fritz Kling, number 421. It's like Randy Gaddey's got 2nd place pretty well locked up. Nope, Phil Pummell makes a move on the outside. Phil Pummell has moved back into 2nd place. Randy Gaddey's in 3rd as Fritz Kling comes out of the hairpin on this 950 Yamaha. 750 punched out to 950. Watch him coming in the corner. He's going through the S's, leading up to the jump. Fritz Kling is still up front. This Michigan Gran Prix from Grattan Raceway. It's Bob Sandy. He's on the Kawasaki, but in the meantime, Don Lewis on that 250 Yamaha. He's moving up to from 13th. I think he's moving into 12th place now. It's only a 250 Yamaha. Looks like Randy Gaddey has jumped out in 2nd place. And Marty Miller on that 500 Suzuki is now in 3rd place, followed by Phil Pummell. Phil Pummell blew up his good engine down Daytona, so he's only running a stock engine Honda. So Phil Pummell has been put back in 4th place. Just watch him through the S's. Got a left-hander, right-hander, another left that leads you up to the jump as Marty Miller chases after Randy Gaddey. Here comes Don Lewis again on that 250. Don Lewis had a bad start. He's stuck back in 12th place, but he's moving pretty good through this. Through the traffic of 750s and 1100cc motorcycles out here in the Michigan Grand Prix that's open to any motorcycle. Randy Gaddey, Marty Miller, Phil Pummell. Watching for 5th place. Number 27, Gary Hatherley seems to be leading Stevie Patterson. Like Mike Karm out of Michigan City, Indiana. Gary Hatherley on a Suzuki, 1100 Suzuki, and he's leading Stevie Patterson. They come down the front straightaway again. The battle for 2nd. 2nd is number 80, Randy Gaddey. 3rd place, Marty Miller, number 483. 1100 Suzuki versus a 500 Suzuki 2-stroke. Phil Pummell still in 4th place, trying to make a move, trying to get back into 2nd place. As Fritz Kling is nowhere to be seen. He's way out front. Fritz Kling won the heat race yesterday. Here comes Bob Sandy on the Kawasaki, 750 Kawasaki. He's getting around pretty good, but he's down in 14th place. White flag, 1 lap to go. Still up front. Fritz Kling, number 421 on Yamaha. Last year's Michigan Grand Prix champ, and he's walking away with it today. He's got a good 30 seconds now over 2nd place. Check that, maybe 15 seconds. We'll check it out on this final as they come to the checkered flag. This is it. Fritz Kling, number 421, wins the Michigan Grand Prix, race number 1. 10 seconds back it is. Randy Gaddey, number 82nd, 483. Marty Miller, 3rd. 4th place, Phil Pummell out of Jamestown, Ohio, is in 4th. We're watching for 5th place. 5th place, number 55, Mike Karm out of Suzuki. 6th place, Stevie Patterson. In 7th place, Gary Hatherley.
It is now time for trophies. Phil Pummell picking up 4th place, Michigan Grand Prix. He's from Jamestown, Ohio, riding at 750 Honda. 3rd place, Marty Miller. He's from Dayton, Ohio, running that 500cc 2-stroke Suzuki. 2nd place, riding that 1100cc Suzuki, Randy Gaddey, and he's from Warren, Michigan. And winning the first Michigan Grand Prix at Grattan Raceway for 1990, it is Fritz Klein on the Yamaha, and he's from East Lansing, Michigan. Music for this clip from Tyrant Rain, Lost Cause, Travesty, and Mike Preetz. And all this music was given to me by the artist. For more information on WERA, America's road race leader, their website is WERA.com. Grattan Raceway is Grattan Raceway Park, MX.com. Contact me, it's teamdan45@gmail.com. I love to hear from my audience. Remember, you can always search on YouTube and Rumble for more Team Chicago action. And I highly encourage you to visit the World of Motorcycle Museum, Winamac, Indiana, off Indiana 39, 4 miles south of North Judson. Give them a call first at 574-896-3172. It's a great trip and a great collection of motorcycles.